Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Film Hustlers. I'm going to say, ladies and gentlemen, filmmakers, content creators.
You're getting very...
Thanking everybody.
Yeah, okay.
For being here, for listening.
Is this because it's a new chapter in your life today?
It's because of producer Patrick.
There we go.
Patrick? Or how about... We can go with Patrick. Is that...
But I want to welcome everyone to the show. We have actually a really special show because TV and non-scripted... And actually, the whole thing, ever since Tootie started complaining about it like 3 weeks ago,
oh my gosh,
it's all changed. It's constantly changing. I mean, the headlines, there's a lot of headlines.
He's manifested change. Good for you.
You're manifesting the change.
Make that change.
But I do want to welcome our co-host today, who is Ann Lewis Roberts.
Yay!
Yes.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, you got to get closer to that thing.
Sorry.
She was basking in her welcome.
Yeah. I thought when Roberts was saying all that, I thought he was going to introduce Ann, but he was like the landscape of the business. I was like, come on, man.
Her shows are the most downloaded shows, like and they still are. Like I was
Tommy
looking,
Harper.
No, I was looking. Well, Tommy Harper too, but I was looking yesterday, and like you had like 3 downloads yesterday, and you were on the show like months ago. So,
years ago.
Yeah,
she first came on years ago.
People want to know, though.
It's me. I'm downloading.
It is.
Yeah.
I'm downloading. It's the bots. It's her bots. She's really good.
Let's talk about some headlines, though, like Paramount and the UFC and Taylor Sheridan.
Huge.
That's a real streamer now.
Your connection over there?
Like you have, yeah. Well, actually, they announced it. So Rodrigo Mazon is now going to be over at Paramount, which is amazing.
What a good get for them.
him. He was at
They're
Netflix.
so lucky.
He was at Hulu.
His boss,
bring him on.
Cindy Holland at Netflix, was the OG. She was the very, very first content programming chief at Netflix for years and years. And
so they're a real thing.
She's over at Paramount too.
Yeah, they're a real thing. They're going after it. I think is the UFC big? Is there like how many people watch UFC?
Millions.
Billion.
Well, they're all
hundreds of millions. If
Could
not
be a billion.
Well, yeah. How many people are in the world?
8 billion in the world.
There's a lot. There's billions of people that watch UFC.
Well,
it's a global.
Then they're all going to have to sign up for Paramount. There you go. Right. I mean, I was looking through various streamers. I was looking at FX. They have like 95 million, subscribers. And
FX?
Yeah, FX has 95 million.
FX?
Yeah,
From
95 million. Yeah. So I'm expecting great, huge things from Paramount, CBS, that whole thing.
Well, I'm poor, so the only streamer I have is Paramount Plus. But they got Mobland, which is a great series. They got Tulsa King, which is great. They got a lot of good stuff.
Robert Evans, the show about The Godfather, the series about making of The Godfather, that was
They
amazing.
got 1983 and
1980.
Taylor Sheridan, yeah.
Or sorry,
1883.
1883.
I was about to say 1983. I haven't seen that.
That's when I was born.
That would be awesome, though. 1983. Take me back.
But all the Taylor Sheridan stuff.
Yeah, they have all that.
I think that's when people really were getting crazy.
Yeah.
About it.
Apple's good. I watched
The Studio.
The Studio. I like that one.
I love The Studio.
Love The Studio.
Yeah.
Love Morning Show.
Haven't seen that one.
Love Ted Lasso. Love Shrinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are all the ones you won't
Well,
watch
there's
with
the
me.
other one. There's Severance. If you're a content provider, producer, director, whatever, Apple's probably not the place for us or anyone else to sell because they're always just looking for big names, big stars. Like there's nothing on there that's indie. There's nothing Apple does that's indie. It's all like big names.
I would say the most indie would be Amazon, right? Because you could actually get your stuff up. Well, no, you can't put your stuff up by yourself anymore.
Not anymore.
But distributors, they pretty much take the library is so big.
Yeah,
it's
a hard. We all know. We all know how hard the film industry is right now, even at the indie level. But we've been talking a lot about Mobisodes, and I don't know. I asked AI the other day. I was like, "How much money is the Mobisodes making?" And it couldn't tell me, even though a lot of the reports say $14 billion, $7 billion. So, yeah, there's a disconnect between AI and what's actually happening with Mobisodes.
Is that internationally or domestic?
Internationally,
yeah.
Okay.
It's really bigger in like China and in like Eastern Europe. That's where it kind of originated. And the content, like we've talked about, the content's horrible. But it hooks you in. Like once you start going, it's so bad that it just pulls you in because it's 60 to 90 seconds. Not that you can't tell a story in 60 to 90 seconds, like a commercial, but there's no build-up, there's no development. The acting's poor. It's basically soap opera smashed with porn minus the sex. So what do you got? It's awful. Right?
You got soapy stuff that you
So
get
it's
into
a lot
immediately.
of sexy sex.
No
It's
sex.
No sex at all. But the acting is so bad. It's like on par with like porn acting. Not that I watch very much porn, but
And they don't act anymore. You're talking about like 80s porn.
Yeah, that's what I'm
where
saying.
They had
You know
like
what I mean?
scripts.
Yeah, where they
The whole thing is a flirt.
But like old, really poorly acted movies. Even,
Your favorite? What was your favorite? The Werewolf Billionaire.
Werewolf Billionaire is good. I
Right.
literally could not stop watching.
Yeah,
it was
the
amazing.
book.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
So Mobisodes are doing their thing. I think we're kind of coming out of it. There's been a lot of good news lately. California apparently is really stepping up with the tax credits, the amount of money that they have per year for production. A lot of states are doing the same. Once Paramount made this deal with UFC, and they know that they're going to be making a lot of money from the people signing up for the UFC, they're going to be able to create more product. So I think things are going to change in this space.
Paramount made another big move immediately, which is they signed an overall deal with the Duffer Brothers, who created Stranger Things.
Right.
Oh wow,
And,
really?
Yeah, because
they left Netflix.
Yeah, their deal was over, but Cindy Holland, who I was just talking about, who is the OG at Netflix, she had the relationship with them, so she went to them and said, "Come over here with me at Paramount." And so that was the other thing they announced right away after the split. So I think people are trying to say, listen, this isn't like a Skydance takeover with people who don't understand what's going on. We're hiring the biggest and the best, like Jeff Shell from NBC Universal is the CEO. You have Cindy Holland, who is the head of Netflix. You see them getting into sports, which everybody's trying to leverage as part of their package. They got rid of the two other guys, but they kept George Cheeks, who's over at CBS, and he really is, the sort of genius who programs for CBS. CBS is a top broadcast network. I mean, even though the viewers are less and less, CBS has always stayed steady with what they choose on the network.
If that wasn't enough, Paramount owns Comedy Central, who just gave $1 billion deal to the guys who do South Park.
Wow.
And they're killing it.
So they are absolutely going to be coming with all the goods, which means that Netflix and every other network who's going to really try to compete is going to have to be up there too. So hopefully that's going to change stuff. It's going to create some more competition amongst filmmakers coming up with better ideas so that people can tune in, and maybe the Mobisodes become a big deal. I can't imagine, but maybe they become a huge deal in the marketplace where people like you and me are starting to make millions of dollars doing that. That would be great.
Well, Warner Brothers came out. They're going to do, I think, 14 or 16 originals because of the success of Sinners, which was like an indie.
Yeah.
But their bigger budget films didn't perform very well, so they decided, they took a step back and looked at the films that did well, and they were more of the smaller indie type films, original scripts, and so they said they're going to produce 14 to 16 of those a year.
That's great.
Yeah, so that's great.
Well, they used to do it back in the day when I was here at Universal, like in 2000, 2002, whatever. They would do
Was Lemley still here then?
No. Yeah, Carl Lemley was still here. No, they would do their big movies, and then they would do small movies, and the small movie was like a film that you made for $20 million. A couple of those were like American Pie.
Yeah.
They also did Legally Blonde. These were all small movies that made big stars and huge money, made over $100 million. So they're just going back to the old way. It's still tried and true. It's just working in a streamer sort of situation now. But Anne's work has taken her to something else. Like, we're talking about YouTube now. Like, we're talking about like brands now funding shows.
If you go back into like the 40s and 50s, the shows were paid for by brands.
Yeah.
It wasn't paid for necessarily by the studios, I don't believe. The shows were paid for by those.
Well, I mean, but it was the difference too is that like 90% of anyone who had a television was watching the show that you're watching. So like I Love Lucy was being watched by 50 million people, something crazy like that. Last time you were here, we were talking about competition shows about building houses, and are those still happening? Are those still selling?
The last thing that we were talking about when I was here was that there is a scarcity of money in unscripted, and scripted as well, because people were still carrying their cable networks, and then they were trying to pump up their streamers. And what has happened since we last talked to you is the the split is happening. So you know, NBC Universal had their split, so now there's Versant, who's basically the holding pen for all the things that NBC didn't want, you know, and they're trying to figure out what to do with that. And NBC kept itself, NBC Universal, NBC, you know, Movies, the broadcast network, and their main brand, which is Bravo. And they don't need to be pumped up. But all these other things, I think when you're pitching for Versant, I bet if you came in with, hey, Walmart's going to pay for this, you know, I bet you're going to get something to air quicker. I don't know that that's the case on the places where they're pumping all the money, because I don't think you want to give up that leverage to a brand to have it all the way through. You'd rather have just a commercial. But anywhere that's sort of limping along is, if you bring in a brand, it's, you know, it is hugely important. And then also Discovery and Warner Brothers split up, right? So David Zaslav is now the CEO of Legacy Warner Brothers Studio and Legacy Warner Brothers Television, which is 22 of the biggest shows in streaming and broadcast. And then over here now is Discovery, which is HGTV and food. So that's their cable bundle over here. So now that these places are all separating, money is going to go and flow more. That's my prediction, that money is going to go into the right places and people are going to start doing more content.
Are they going to be producing shows about cooking, like barbecue shows? Are they, you know, Storage Wars? Are they going to do those?
Well, the first thing that happened when they made that split was HGTV canceled, I want to say, 6 to 8 of its legacy shows, all the Flipper Flops, Tarek and his wife. They each had spinoffs. They had spinoffs with ex-wives and new wives, and they canceled all those shows. They canceled, gosh.
Are they canceling Lopez's show, the Celebrity IOU? That episode hasn't aired yet.
That's still on, but that's on CBS, right?
Oh, I don't know. Is it?
Yeah,
it's
his
the
is on
Property
broadcast.
Brothers.
Yeah, his is on broadcast.
Paramount's got lots of money.
Oh.
Yeah, but all of the HGTV shows sort of went away, and then they are now doing new shows and trying new things, but half of the orders are coming in. So I think they're trying to figure out what are our new things. The legacy stuff, they were like, we've got enough of that. Same with food. A lot of those things went away. There's still the legacy things that you love, right? Barbecue Brawl and Bobby Flay, those things are still around, but anything that was sort of on the fence got canceled.
Well, what's crazy is that, like, I think about the shows that I loved, and I'm talking about 5 years ago, 6 years ago, maybe 10. These shows that were about a guy who, you know, built cars or built motorcycles. You know, you could pretty much sell anything as long as the personality was big before.
Yeah, I think those shows are still going to be around. You know, there's these chunks, right? There's Netflix and the kind of stuff that they're looking for, right? It's sports, it's
Love
live,
Island.
And then it's, you know, and then it's things that stand out and are loud, you know, like the romantic show or Is It Cake? You know, I mean, there's still going to be those shows, but no, you're not going to be able to walk in and sell, you know, like a plate and a fork and be like, we'll fill it in. You've got to have something, as they say, concept driven that's going to cut through the clutter. And then you have Amazon Prime Video, and what they really want is things that they can also sell on Amazon.com. So if you can come in there with something that makes sense to be sold as well, that's a great place where if for some reason you have a brand attachment to go in and sell there, that's a great thing. They have like book publishing and shoppable stuff, and they have the studio, and they have, you know, Amazon Streamer. So when you look at these places now, you sort of have to look at like, who did they buy up, right? So Disney bought up, their bundle is ESPN, that's for sports and family. It's Disney Plus, which is Pixar and all, you know, Star Wars and animation. So that's your family one. And then you have Hulu, which is the Hoochie Mamas, right? That's the little more sexy. It's got the Kardashians and true crime. And so they have their, you know, they have their bundle, right? That's something for everybody. And they just announced they're going to do a bundle to start out, like you have your $4.99 one. I think it's $29.99 for people, legacy people who want to go and get Disney, Hulu, Hulu is FX
ESPN.
too, by the way,
ESPN.
and ESPN. So everybody's putting together like their little package. Warner Brothers also has Max, HBO Max, which I think we all still watch. But the other thing that's different is, I would say, pivoting to places where this hustler group can make their own mark. So YouTube, anybody can put up a YouTube channel. The reason to do it is if you can stomach putting up some content that someone cares about every single day, because the frequency is the king. Yep. And you've got to be in it for a long haul, and they're never going to pay you until you get to a certain number. But if you have the stamina and you have the interest, you could be a comedian and do that. You could cut together, little home shows and do that before and after. They're really getting into long form. Remember when it was like YouTube Red?
Yeah.
So that
Karate Kid.
Karate Kid was the one thing that came out of it.
YouTube Red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do I?
You did. You saw. You used to talk about.
Anyway,
yeah, that's true.
They killed it, and now they're saying, because people have been watching YouTube for so long, people are also willing to lay on their backs and watch a full show. So
True.
they're encouraging people to do longer form. And then for celebrities who come in, or owners of content, if you have 100 hours of something, like let's just say Oprah, she owns her book club stuff. So she came over there, Starbucks wrote her a check for $50 million. Jeez. So she would do her new shows in Starbucks. So she does some of them at home, some of them in Starbucks. She talks about her latte.
She drinks Starbucks while she's at home.
She drinks
though, right?
it, blah, blah, blah. And so she has one title sponsor, and then she also has any ads that she may do. But I think $50 million buys you that there's no ads inside the show.
No.
So if you don't come with a sponsor to YouTube, you can eventually, if you get enough traction and what you have is good, you will eventually make enough subscribers that you do a split with them for commercials that they facilitate for you, and you do a rev share.
I also heard yesterday from a source that, and it makes sense, live TV, he feels that that's the next big wave, only because, to your point earlier, Robert, it's like watching Storage Wars. I was the same. I couldn't wait to see what's going to be in that. It's like Geraldo Rivera in Al Capone's vault. You're like, oh, let me see. You wait. Now you just go on YouTube and say, fast forward to that. Oh, there's nothing in there. There's a bottle. Boom.
Yeah, exactly.
I get my fix in 10 seconds.
Yeah, you're totally right. The buyers at all of these places, Netflix has now a live person that you go to pitch live things, and it has to be big.
Splashy.
Like we did, what if you did we pitched them, what if you do Container Wars live? Yeah. And they were like, because then what if there's nothing in there and it sucks? But they're doing that Hollywood Medium live. That was one of the first things that they did live. That young, cute boy.
He got to start right on that stage right here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's someone who Netflix did 10 episodes live with celebrities. And that was sort of like figuring out what it would be. And now they're doing some sports live. Amazon Prime does live WNBA shows.
Yeah.
And it's exactly what you said. They're like, people have gotten so numb to binging.
Yeah.
Now we got to shake it up a little bit, and we've got to make them feel like we all got to drive home like we used to and watch something together. So it all is cyclical, and it keeps moving around.
That's
to
correct.
me, I think it's just the distribution platforms that have changed. But does your grandpa know the distribution platforms change? They're just like, once you get me there, I think you're going to watch a lot of the same shows.
Yeah.
But it's like, if live is back again because in 2020 we binged too much, then those kind of home shows are going to come back. True crime, long form is already out. And that was a big deal for a long time. And now they just want little fast stories of true crime. So it's all cyclical. That to me means any content creator still has an opportunity, because we're just people, and we just keep changing our minds and our appetite, but it's all sort of the same stuff coming around again.
Well, think about the people who used to listen to radio, right? War of the Worlds. Like, they never thought, TV, that's not, what is that thing? A little box with, no. You got to listen. You got to use your imagination, creativity, right?
We drove over here. We listened to a podcast. You know, I'm sure you drive home and listen to podcasts. You've told me that before. So that's the radio.
And do you know what a podcast is? A podcast is a talk show, and they got rid of all of the talk shows. And you know what mobisodes are? They're soap operas, and they got rid of all the soap operas. Yeah. So now we've just made talk shows
See, you can't even talk about it. It makes no sense.
And we've made mobisodes shorter, and now we're looking for live so we can feel like we're together, and we're looking for those mobisodes. If you guys are going to do mobisodes, I'd jump on that right now, because that shit's going to go away too.
Well, here's the thing. Next week called, and mobisodes are not a thing anymore. So
podcasts were a big deal, right? Now everybody has one. So now it has to be a video podcast. And so now YouTube is doing all the podcasts.
Which you look really pretty too. You were ready to be on camera today.
I tried. I did. I thought I was going to be on camera.
I know, but
today.
we haven't got the. Next time you got to come back, Mom, when we do the first one.
Okay, but yeah, now they want a video podcast. YouTube is
Vodcasts are called podcasts.
Vodcasts. YouTube is, they call them shows actually. On
That's
YouTube.
true.
Yeah. So YouTube is airing them, and now we're watching them. That's a talk show.
Yeah.
Spotify.
That's a talk show.
It's all backwards.
Scott Evans, he started a show. You're right, but it started as a podcast, but they shot it. He is making a lot of money off this show, and he gets great. It's called Be My Guest. He was nominated for a Webby.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I watch it, and he sends me notes every week saying, "And don't not watch."
Does he really?
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't, but the mechanism does, and it sends me a thing and says, "Don't forget who I have on this week," and I'm like, he's telling me.
Yeah, yeah. And he was telling me, because I asked him yesterday, I go, dude, because they were talking about his show and how well it's doing, and we talk about it on Access, but it's kind of like, and production value wise, it's good. It looks great,
adorable.
Right?
Yeah, and he has big celebrities because he probably piggybacks off the the love that they have for him from the show.
He's got the Access setup at his house.
Yeah. And he's making a lot of money.
I didn't know that.
And Spotify is now getting into the space of the vodcast. You know what I mean? So they're doing that. Yeah. But going back to
where's he making the money from? From
sponsorships.
Okay.
Yeah, because think about, well, just the combination of celebrities, production value, him, the reach, right? He has, I don't know how many followers, but then he gets somebody on who has that many followers, and it's just.
But he doesn't get it from the distribution platform. He gets it from.
He gets his money from
the sponsors. Interesting.
Yeah.
Speaking of sponsors, can we talk about extrememusic.com for a second?
The
best in the world.
You know what's coming back? Music videos.
I believe it.
Because there's so many songs that didn't have music videos because music videos haven't been a thing.
Do you think Russ is going to be doing music videos with some of the music on extrememusic.com?
They're coming back.
That'd be amazing.
They're putting in young stars of this day, and they're doing a music video to a song.
Yeah, because my Big Time Tommy's done like a couple of them.
Couple of songs?
No, a couple of music videos. He's been Sabrina Carpenter. He did a video. Yeah, and it's a story. You know, he's in the video. He plays like the mob guy, and he sent it to me. No, I'm serious. I'll send it to you. He's done, and he did a Nike commercial actually, but the Sabrina Carpenter, and then I think he did another one. But it just makes sense because the attention span is so short. Music videos are what, under 5 minutes, right? And it tells a story. Dude, Jane's Got a Gun. I wanted Aerosmith to make that into a movie. The video was so good. Do you remember that?
If you are doing music or doing product and you are putting music into that product, you got to go to extrememusic.com. They're the best.
It's incredible.
They have they've made hits. You know what's really funny is I used a song in one of our movies. I can't remember which one it was, but we were watching a commercial the other day, really big commercial, and of course I recognized the song. I was like, oh my god, I used that cue in my movie. So you could get cues that are on big commercials, huge movies, hits on shows.
Yeah.
Opening title credits, like the whole thing, at extrememusic.com for a decent price. But,
and it's easy.
You know where I'm hearing them now is when you do a show or a podcast, they have that awesome jingle that gets you to the sponsor.
Can you do that?
People are using Extreme Music for that.
Extrememusic.com has different lengths of songs. They have transitions that are just like kind of endings of scenes. It's amazing.
Pull stuff out.
You can pull stuff out. I mean, so much. Check out extrememusic.com for all your music needs. Yeah. But I do want to say one more thing about YouTube. There was a guy on Instagram, you're probably going to know who he is, that is an extreme camper. And I really like this guy.
Outdoor Boys?
Yeah, that's him. What's he called?
Outdoor Boys.
Outdoor Boys, yeah. So this guy...
He was started on YouTube, yeah.
Yeah, he'd start on YouTube, and he has like 7 billion views. I mean, something crazy like that. But anyway, what he does extreme camping. He'll go out in Alaska and build like a little fort and make his bread. And I mean,
just like you guys.
Yeah, just like us. Amazing. Anyway, I would get lost and follow him. Long story short, he quit the other day. He like completely quit. He's like, I'm not doing it anymore. It's intrusive to my family, my business. He made $9 million on YouTube.
He's out.
$9 million. And he says, I'm going to help my sons. And they're doing their YouTube channels. I'm going to help them do theirs. But all he did was sort of cook in the wild and make bread in the wild and like build
shelter.
He's fascinating dude.
Yeah.
And but I was surprised to read 7 billion views, $9 million, and he was just leaving it for a lot of reasons. I think people were stealing his content, putting it on other things.
The Clippers,
yeah.
But here's the hope in that is that's the kind of show you would usually pitch to Discovery Channel, right? That's the deadliest catch. Tom Beer's iconic show.
He wouldn't have got 9 billion.
Or Bear Grylls. I was thinking Bear Grylls, right? Like that's kind of like a.
And now, if you have a passion, your unique character, you go put it on your YouTube channel. You were going to do it anyway, whether you're putting it on your YouTube channel or not. Get it going. And some of these shows just are better off on YouTube. More people are watching. More eyeballs are watching. Half of viewership in America is on YouTube.
Wow.
It just reached over 50%.
Really?
So forget pitching somebody. If you have something unique or access to somebody who does something unique and they're doing it every day, and you can tell if it's great is if that person's going to do it, whether you shoot them or not, because I don't think for YouTube is acting yet.
Yeah.
I think it's somebody who's passionately doing crazy shit like, Outdoor Boys.
Mm-hmm. Joe Rogan was talking about him on his podcast, saying like, I can't stop watching this guy. Like he's out in the wilderness and he's camping in like the weirdest places. But he permeated. Like when you ran by through his video, you had to watch like, oh, I want to see more of that. And I'd go find him like, eating and hiking and building huts. It was the craziest thing. I mean, but good for him.
Yeah.
I think if you can find something interesting to put out there, people will find you and check it out. It's pretty amazing like what we all want to watch. Yeah. I was surprised because I was interested in the Outdoor Boys, and I always wonder when I'm watching something and when I'm like obsessing about it, I'm always wondering, I wonder if a lot of people are doing this too, especially if I've never heard of them. And in that particular case, it was amazing to realize, 7 billion people
you would think
watch this
we're all
video.
real similar. You know what I mean? That's the thing. We're similar. We like the same types of things, not just us here at the table, but just people in general, right? Like if it's interesting, like you said, Ann, if someone's going to do it regardless if there's a camera or not, that's interesting. Like those people have passion about something. We're going to follow them on that journey. Yeah. But what's going to be more interesting is when this podcast goes on YouTube.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And then you could tune in and watch Davey Dave and you
and Ann
and us eating cake.
Right. And then you cut them up and you do a YouTube short out of it, and you do an Instagram, and you get people wherever they are. You have to go to people wherever they are.
Yeah, but let me ask you this. So, like, what do you do? Like, do you like the idea of going out and raising money and doing something seems absurd considering what we've been talking about on the show. Like, do you get investors to do stuff anymore? Is that really a way to go?
I think we just do what our whole show started with. You don't be stopped. You go and get investors. You just keep going forward. You keep making content. You just got to keep making. It's like what you said about YouTube. You're not going to knock it out in the first 10, 20, 30. You're going to knock it out in the 100, 120 episodes.
Because of consistency, right?
It's like anything in life. You want to get in shape, you go to the gym. You're not going to get in shape in a week. You're not getting in shape in 2 months.
Yeah,
Third month you're going to see changes.
And when I used to, one of my jobs was doing talk show pilots, and talk show pilots are $1 million. And if you order a full season of a talk show, Right now, they're probably like $18 million, but back when I was doing it, they were $30 million to bite off for one season of a talk show. So that means you were like the wardrobe and the hair and the commercials and the thing and the thing and the thing. And now people are just doing podcasts out in their garage. And I can't even imagine what it costs. Very, very, very little.
Very little.
And so you can find very little.
Yeah.
You could figure out very little. I mean, it used to be 30 million. And what do you think it would cost somebody to do a video podcast?
$100 if you have the equipment.
Yeah. Well, not even that. You don't even need we all have iPhones, right?
If you wanted to start from scratch and do it yourself, it's $1,000.
There you go. $1,000 gets you your
everything you need to go tomorrow.
There is so much,
but that's quality. You're talking about
high
not
quality.
doing it ghetto styles with your phone on a
By the way, it
bookshelf
wouldn't
or
be
something.
ghetto styles. Look pretty good. It would look good on iPhone.
And then you practice and you keep getting better and you keep getting better and
That's
you get better and better. And then someday you're ready for the big time.
Let's just be clear. Joe Rogan has a deal that pays him how much?
Over $100 million.
Over $100 million. Okay, that's not TV. That's not streaming.
No.
That's not like box office. That is a podcast, right? And it just depends on how many people are interested.
And look how influential
you're
he
doing.
was
Yeah.
in terms of the election.
Yeah.
He has so much influence globally.
Yeah,
The guests that come on that show,
They wanna go on that show.
They want to go
Yeah.
on the show.
Dax Shepard too, by the way.
Let's just be clear. Dax Shepard signed an $80 million podcasting distribution deal with Amazon's Wondery.
$80 million. Wow. This is a podcast. We're not talking about television or film, right? So just know that there's so many opportunities out there. There's so much more to talk about. We should do another show and talk about this more.
$250 million, by the way. Sorry.
Who's 250?
Joe Rogan.
$250 million.
How much did we say? 100
million.
Okay, 250
Yeah,
million. Wow.
that's crazy. I wonder what Corolla's getting. Corolla's probably somewhere close to that number too.
Well, and call her daddy. She's a gal who did it with her best friend. They broke up and got in a fight, and then she did her own, and now she's the number one. If you're gonna go announce something and you're a female, she is the podcast that you want to go on to announce your deal.
Well, yeah, these are our new the stars of today. The celebrities of today are on podcasts, and it's just all completely different. Things are changing.
Yep.
We're changing. We're excited about what's happening. I think you got to look to the future for what's coming. I don't know if 5 years ago Dax Shepard would have said to himself, "Oh, someone's going to pay me $80 million to be just talk on the radio, basically," or Joe Rogan $250 million. I don't think they could have predicted that. So if they can't predict it, neither can you, which means that you got to go out there and do what you can to keep working and keep producing and keep creating. Maybe you'll be on YouTube, maybe you'll be on Audible, but it's all changing and it's going to keep changing. It's not going to stand still for anybody. So if it's mobisodes, like Teddy's going to be going into full time, that's a whole other thing.
Am I? Okay.
Well, I also want to say Anne can't talk about it right now, but she's working on some very, very big projects that are not on TV.
Yeah, one of them is a YouTube channel.
Ooh, yeah.
So that's why I got a bunch. I
got a bunch of information.
Got a bunch of information about that, and it's super fascinating. It's really interesting. What everybody is looking for at this moment in time, and then it'll change again, and it'll change again, and I think you just have to stay showered and pretty and get up and keep your hair cut and keep moving forward and figure out what's going on. I want you guys to stay pretty. Okay,
Yes.
That's important.
Will you come back and talk to us about what you're doing when you finally
when my big announcement
break it?
comes
Yeah,
out.
that'd be great. All right, guys. Well, that was a lot of information.
Yeah, stay showered, buddy.
Yeah, stay showered.
I like that one. I'm going to use
Stay
that
showered and stay pretty, Teddy.
one. Yeah, stay showered.
Know
and
where
stay
the bathroom
pretty.
is.
Yeah.
These are my nuggets.
Dave's always looking pretty, so we're all good.
That's very nice.
Yeah, of course. You're always ready to go. You're always dressed in the latest and the greatest.
Yeah,
It's true. He's got that nice car.
All right, guys. Well, we'll talk to you next week on Film Hustlers.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
How can you not have a jingle for